Yeah, hello everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Wherever the hell you are in the world, post-pandemic, time to celebrate. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, as they say. Also, it's Friday somewhere in the universe. I don't know how that works. Hopefully NASA's on it. How the hell are you? Good to see you. Sorry to interrupt your friend's marathon or whatever the hell it is that you're watching, because we have got a doozy in store for you tonight. We are broadcasting to you live from the beautiful and southern picturesque shores of New York City, the one and only town without pity, Staten Island. Stand up and represent. We have got an absolutely fantastic broadcast tonight, powered by our good friends at Williams iWorks and Lebron team eXp Realty, who, by the way, are going down in the 5K challenge this weekend. Impossible for me to beat anybody, really, considering I am actually going up against a professional athlete with a broken foot in Pat Neubauer out there in Santa Barbara, California. But I do like my chances. I will run 65 feet and then possibly right into the arms of Jesus at the gates of heaven, because I will die this weekend. But for a good cause, it goes to our heroes. If you haven't signed up yet, sign up now. The information's on our Facebook and our Instagram. Excellent cause. Tonight, I will be drinking Yingling on the air. I will not be drinking Flagship Brewery because I drank Flagship Brewery for quite some time. And I got to be completely honest with you. It quarantine started taking a turn. It started getting really weird. So I had to ease up on the Flagship. And I said, if I'm going to drink Flagship, I'm going to drink that new seltzer that they came out with, that Ralph's Ice's Flagship Seltzer. Well, it turns out that me, Danny Shenad, host of Nobody Cares Sports Show, cannot even get my hands on this drink. It's impossible, absolutely impossible to get Flagship Seltzer / Ralph's Ice Seltzer, whatever the hell you want to call it. I actually think it might be easier to get the original Quaaludes from the 1980s than it would be to get a six-pack of seltzer from Flagship Brewery. Unbelievable. But some good stuff on deck. Signs of normalcy coming up in the world. NASCAR has started racing again. That's good news. I suppose it's good news if you're south of the Mason-Dixon line. But yeah, NASCAR is back, so that's good. Can't wait to watch that. How do you bet on it? I don't know, but we will. Also, what else is new? Horse racing. Saw the Commodore earlier in the week, and he was gnawing on a piece of wood. I said, what are you doing? He said, I'm waiting for horse racing to come back. I was like, you have serious problems. Now, good news. The Kentucky Derby is going to be in September. I don't know when the Belmont Stakes is going to be, Christmas time, but don't worry. You'll still lose your money. All good things, all good things. Commodore is going to be coming on the broadcast a little while. Also, NFL still on schedule to come back. Word on the street is the NFL is going to come back. July training camp is still supposed to happen. Everything is still in motion and to go. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Nobody cares, but I will say this. If they take fantasy football away from us, the crime rate will drastically increase in and around America. Well, hello, everybody watching out there on Facebook. To our fans, all negative 5,000 of you out there from Hawaii, California, New Jersey, Missouri, Oregon, up and down the coast, Florida. I know you're watching out there. Thanks for tuning in. Nobody cares. And to all negative 19 people right now watching on the Facebook Live, we are about to be joined by a very special guest this evening. The man's been involved in the coaching community for probably longer than I've been alive. I've got to be honest with you. I'm 35 years old. I'm not trying to date anybody. But he is the former head coach of Tottenville Pirates out there on the South Shore of Staten Island. And he is now an assistant coach up on the hill at Wagner College, coaching the Seahawks. Now bringing in the one and only Coach Jim Munson to the broadcast. Coach, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. Doing great. How about you?
I'm doing well, Coach. I appreciate you coming on tonight. I want to let you know we don't have a budget. You're okay with that?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, good. Because I wasn't sure if your agent let you know, but I appreciate you coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of guests on the show, and we've had to sort of go into quarantine and go live, but we've never had a guest call in via the driving. So
I'm
this is
driving.
exciting.
Yeah, my wife is driving. We're coming home from my mother-in-law's house. Yep.
That's exciting. You know, the mother-in-law's house pre-COVID wasn't an exciting adventure. No, during the COVID world, it's very exciting to go see the mother-in-law. I'm excited for you.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
you know, Coach, we've been talking to a lot of people lately involved in the football community. Just last week, we had Coach Peter Gambardella from Curtis on. We've had Sal Vitale from Staten Island Boys Football League was on as well. And there seems to be a general consensus that they have a pretty good idea of the amount of practice time that they need with their youths and their players before they can be ready for the season. Do you guys have a idea of what that is for you? How many days it is until you guys could be ready if you got a green light?
Well, pre-COVID, they usually give you 30 days in college to start camp before your first game. So our first game this year is going to be September 6th. So we're thinking if everything goes well, we'll be in camp at Wagner College on August 6th. And that'll give us enough time to get ready for the home, the opener against Central Connecticut.
So has anything changed for you guys? I mean, obviously, the kids being off campus, they haven't been lifting together as a team. So how have you been able to sort of motivate your players to exercise with the regimen that you want them to on their own time?
You know, Coach Masella laid it out pretty good for them. He said, listen, no one's going to care on September 6th that there was a virus, or you couldn't lift, or you couldn't run. So you're on your own. We're going to send you a schedule. We're going to send you a regimen. You're on your own to come back in shape for August 6th. Because if all goes well, September 6th, we're going to line up against Central Connecticut, and we're going to need to be ready to play.
Absolutely. Getting pancaked in front of 5,000 people is getting pancaked in front of 5,000 people, no matter whether there was a pandemic and you worked out or you didn't. It's going to be obvious who did their homework, so to speak, right? So you're going to know who's in shape and who's not right when camp opens. But that August date, is that a normal date for you guys, or is that pushed back at all?
No, that's normal. We've usually started about August 1st if we play September 1st. So that's around where we have started in the past.
No, well, that's good news for you. Have there been any challenges for you? I mean, what's been the hardest part about not being in contact with the players?
I mean, we've been in Coach Masella has done a great job of keeping the kids motivated and trying to get them together via Zoom. Everything has been via Zoom. So we've had 3 meetings a week with the players. We've had a team meeting. We've had two meetings to install offense, defense, and special teams per week. We meet every day as a staff via Zoom. We stay in contact with the kids regarding if they're working out, how school is going, how their home life is going, if there are any issues, if everybody's healthy in their families. So everything has been through phone, text, and Zoom.
Well, you know what? That brings me to an interesting idea. You've been coaching for a long time, right?
35 years.
35 years. That happens to be exactly how old I am. I'm sorry to hit that nail
That's
right
correct.
on the head. Okay.
That's
okay. Okay, that's why it's okay. It's fine. Happy Memorial Day, to change the subject. But what I wanted to say was, you've been doing this 35 years, so that's like mid 1980s. Can you imagine if this happened in, let's say, the early 1990s with no internet? How impossible it would be to keep track of the players. And I mean, in a way, it's a great thing that it happened today.
You would have to divvy up the responsibilities for coach and just stay in contact by phone.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I can't even imagine.
But there'd be no home instruction. There'd be no remote learning. It would be a great challenge if this was 20 years
right
ago.
Like I'm saying, like a lot of kids don't care that they're out of school, except for the kids that missed out on their senior year, be it high school, college. Most kids, they got Wi-Fi and video games. They're good right now. You know, like they're
I'm telling you, it's getting old. They wish they were back in school.
Oh no, I know the parents want them back.
First week or two. Well, kids want to be back too. They miss that socialization. No, really, from the kids, that I speak to online in my classes, they miss being in class, miss being in their friends, miss walking around the halls, being in the cafeteria. So, they'd rather be back in school.
No, I believe that,
Parents do, but the kids do.
So word on the street is, speaking of schools, that your son has graduated from the Naval Academy.
He did. He graduated in 2018.
Oh, yeah. Congrats. Well, all right. You know what? Coach Neville of the Tottenville Pirates is acting like he's texting me cutting edge information, and I'm not sure if he's trying to set me up or if he's trying to help me out.
Yeah, he graduated 2 years ago. He's a second lieutenant in the Marines.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. That's better than anything we've got going on here at Nobody Cares Sports Show. Congratulations. Make sure and tell him thank you for serving our country. Some things I wanted to talk to you about while I have you on. We like to shake it up a little bit. We like to ask some fun questions. Nobody really takes us seriously. Nobody cares. I'm sorry, Coach. But speaking of Coach Brian Neville earlier today, he actually said he wanted me to ask you about the time when you guys played Curtis in 2001 and you had your first and second string quarterbacks knocked out and Freddie kept blitzing. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay. I don't care personally. I don't have like a motivation here.
No, I do. But hey, Coach Oliveri was he was as good as they come, and he was a competitor, and that was his defense. And he wasn't going to stop doing what they did. So it was, it was all good.
No, yeah. Listen, you guys
if you look back at it now, it was all good. Back then, I was a little angry, but after many years, that was what Coach did, and he did it well. So we were running the single wing. We put the single wing in on the end zone. Lou Curcio to start, and got knocked out, and then Mike Pace, we brought him in, and I think Craig Luttrell. No, not Luttrell. Damian McCaig.
Yeah, that's
tackled him on the sidelines and dropped him on his head, and the poor kid got a concussion and didn't come back in the game, and we had to go to the single wing.
Wow. All right. I'm not trying to get you to lose any sleep tonight or anything. That seemed like a horrible transition of going from a working offense to the single wing.
Single wing. That's correct.
Okay.
It
great.
was 19 years ago. I will not lose any sleep tonight.
Thanks a lot, Coach Neville. I appreciate that. Boy, that was Brian, a tough one.
Right, Coach Neville. He's setting you up.
Yes, he did. And you know what? This is my fault. And he knows that I'm a Curtis guy, so he set me up. I should have seen it coming. So next question is, I was in touch with Pete Gambardella, who found out that you were going to be on the broadcast tonight. And I have no idea what this means. All right. So I'm just going to ask you the question because, again, like I fired the stat department down here several times. I don't know what anything is, but he said, ask you about the Leah Drennan game. Nothing.
Which one?
Which one? I don't know. I mean,
the Leah Drennan game. I mean, that is a great game. That Dr. Gene Mosiello had asked Peter and myself if we can do something in honor of those two outstanding men. And we started playing that, I'd say about 6 or 7 years ago. and Doc gets a trophy, and the winner of that game gets to keep the trophy for a year, and we take it to the sports the trophy place, and he puts a nice sticker on it, and it's a big deal. You know, it's a big deal. Guys get up, both teams get up to playing great in that game and winning that trophy.
And that
But it's
game,
something special. So, you know, Lieutenant Nick Lee, who was killed in Vietnam, and Captain John Drennan, who was killed from injuries he sustained in a fire. They were teammates at Wagner College. And, you know, Dr. Gene Mosiello wanting to keep their memory alive is just a special thing. And like I said, it's become a classic. Those Lee Drennan games between Tottenville and Curtis have become classics.
it is interesting how things have sort of come full circle, where it used to be like a Curtis Wagner thing, but Tottenville has been on the rise lately now, right? And now that game has sort of become the big rivalry in Staten Island football.
Yeah, that's the game. You know, that's the game. Whoever wins that game is usually put himself in the top 4 in the playoff system. Usually has gotten 1 or 2 home playoff games. So that is a marquee game on Staten Island.
Yeah, I've got Eli Wilson, who's actually our NBA insider for Nobody Cares Sports. He played Tottenville football, and he's saying he's the best player that coach never had.
Eli was great. Eli was a great basketball player. He should have played football.
Eli was a great basketball player. That's right. I hear he was a fantastic bat. He's a hell of a sports reporter. Nobody cares, though, Coach.
He's a good guy, Eli.
He is a good dude. All right, well, listen, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I got to tell you, I have the Commodore just dying to come in for a couple of questions. So if you could hold on 1 second, I'm going to bring him in.
Very good.
All right, Commodore, I hope you're ready and you have a shirt on.
What do you know, Dan? Give me a...
What do you mean, give you a second?
I'm busy, Dan.
You're like Cinderella. What's going on? Are you dressed by birds? Say hello to Coach Munson.
I was kind of busy. Hey, Coach, it's great to see you.
How are you?
I'm good, brother. Long time no see. We used to have a lot of fun together back in the 90s.
We did.
Listen, one of my fondest memories back then was on Sunday. You guys used to have a film exchange going between whatever team you played that week. You would agree to give the copy of the game to Fred, and Fred would give a copy of his game to Al, and so forth. Do you remember that circle jerk that went on back then?
The film exchange were classic.
Weren't
We
they?
needed different spots on the island.
Yeah. Commodore has the worst choice of words.
Freddie and I
they were
used to meet at the
fantastic.
Unicorn Diner. Freddie and I used to meet at the Unicorn Diner on Richmond Avenue and Victory Boulevard.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for those conversations.
Oh, they were great. Freddie was great. He was great.
Listen, I got to tell you, one time, one of my fondest memories up on the hill at Curtis football was Freddie sent me out to see you and get a tape. And when I got there to get the game, I was told that the video didn't come out by you. Now, what am I going to do? I can't argue with you. I got to get in the car. I got to go back. I got to see Fred. Well, you can imagine what ensued, right, Coach? Back in the day. Tempest fled. You guys were probably ready to kill each other. Turzo was probably laughing all the way to wherever he was going because you two were at it. Those were the days. You cut your teeth. You were a young kid on the block, I recall, and you had a fantastic career. You had 178 wins, 88 losses, and several championships. What's your best memory as a high school coach?
Well, winning the 2 championships were great. Winning the 2 championships and just competing every day. You know, you don't get much better than Al and Freddie. And, you know, when you had to stay on the game, and, you know, those guys taught me a lot of football and a lot of ways to do things. And, you know, we built good relationships. But my fondest memory coaching is the relationships I built with all the players that I coached. That's special.
Cool. How about now coming up onto the hill? saw you in the stands up there last year with Coach Paterzo, and you were involved with Wagner. Coach Masala's coming back to Staten Island. You're a
Yep.
Tottenville guy. He's a
Yep.
Tottenville guy. I see you got a promotion. You're going to go over to the offensive side this year with the tight ends. What can we expect up on the hill this year? I mean, last year was a horror show. I hate to say it, but it was really a horror show. Past few years, I was hoping for big things. What do you got? Do you have a quarterback?
Wait, hold on. I just want to say, Commodore, I promised him layup questions. This is bullshit. Continue. Thank you.
That's a layup. We've got some good kids. We've got some good kids in the program, and we've recruited a couple of good kids. So we think we're in a good position that way. We had to replace a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball, but we feel good. We've got some good players. I think we had a great recruiting class. Coach Masella is changing the culture. He's going to be, hold kids more accountable, to one another and to the program and school. So we're excited about the future.
Sounds good. Now, this year with the COVID situation, you guys weren't able to play your annual green and white scrimmage. Is that a big thing not to have happened?
Well, it's a big thing for two reasons, right? A, we didn't install the offense, defense, and special teams, so we're going to be a little bit behind. The second thing is we didn't see kids compete, right? So we didn't get to evaluate where we are athletically, talent-wise. So, but everybody's in the same predicament because nobody had any spring football.
Okay.
So camp is going to have to be really focused and really intense, and we're going to have to get a lot of work done in 30 days.
Yeah, you sure are. Well, listen, we're excited about the changes that took place up on the Hill at Nobody Cares Sports Show. Not that anybody cares about what we think to begin with, but we're looking forward to some W's up on the Hill, and we're also looking forward to some good community involvement with you guys up there. You're staunch members of the community. I personally feel that's something that's been missing from Wagner College here. A lot of the recruiting is done around the country, and I think that's fantastic. You guys bring in a tremendous amount of talent, but I'm anxious to see you guys do something in the hometown and get everybody up, rah, 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 on the Hill. Good luck to you, Coach.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, you guys got to come up and see us the third week in September versus Merrimack.
That
Deal.
sounds good. Just keep the Commodore. You got to keep the Commodore off the sidelines if you can. He's good in the stands mostly.
He could come on the sidelines. Like I said, we go to Central Connecticut week 1, and then week 2 we go out to the University of Miami and play the Canes.
That's interesting. I want to ask you a question. It's really not a layup, but how do you feel about going to play the Canes? You get kids coming into Wagner College. You know your schedule, and every year you guys go out and play a big team, and it's an adventure. Do you think that's a good thing for the kids?
It's a great thing.
Okay.
Getting the kids involved in that kind of environment, they get excited when they see a Division I team on the schedule. I mean, we've played the last 3 or 4 years. We played Syracuse, we played Boston College, we played Western Michigan, we played Syracuse, and last year we played UConn, and we should have beat them. We lost 24-21, and we had a bad penalty late in the game that gave them a first down. But we should have beat UConn last year. So, Coach Masella he wants to play a competitive schedule. He wants to play 1 or 2 Division I teams a year. And it's a good recruiting tool, and the kids get excited when they got to line up against that type of player in that environment. So it's good. It's a good thing.
Commodore turned up the heat on you, Coach. Thank you for weathering the storm. That is Nobody Cares Sports Show. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me, guys.
Be well. It's good seeing you. And make sure to tell your son thanks for serving, and we'll see you up at Wagner. Hopefully we don't get kicked out.
Will do. Thank you.
Be good, Coach.